In this video, we are going to have a look at boundaries, especially taking a break at work or taking a lunch break at work. So you may be somebody who has full intention every day to take a break or a lunch break, and something always comes up. So maybe you have a lot of work to do, maybe someone comes to you and they really need your help, or maybe you have an urgent meeting or a team meeting that has to happen. Or maybe you're someone who gets to 3, 4 o'clock, or even the end of the day, and you just realize that time has gone away with you and you haven't managed to have a break. My name's Becca, and I'm a communication coach. And together with Andra, who's a leadership coach, we coach on the License to Lead. And we coach leaders in their leadership to make a bigger impact on those people around them. Let's get stuck in. So the first thing we're going to look at is what's not working for you. So if you need to, at any point in this video, you can pause it. If you need more time to think, you can rewind it. You can watch it from the beginning again. You can make notes, so grab a pen and paper if that's useful for you. What is not working for you? So it may be that you're not taking a break during the day. Maybe it's that you're specifically not taking a lunch break during the day, like you're not having any lunch. And you get to, I said, 5, 6 o'clock, and you're about to leave and you realize you haven't had a break. So what is not working for you? Next, we're going to look at what's the impact. So if you look at your quality of life, what is the impact or consequence of you not doing the first thing? So it might be, if it was me, if I take specifically a lunch break, if I don't have a lunch break, I get hangry. Which, for those of you who don't know what hangry is, it's a mixture of hungry and being angry. I get stressed. I react to people more, so I have less tolerance to things that go wrong or to people. I feel overwhelmed. I get home and I just want to eat everything that's in the fridge, and I don't want to talk to anybody. What else? Have a think for yourself. What's the impact if you don't have a break or a lunch break in your day? And then look at what will the future look like if nothing changes. So for me, if I didn't have a lunch break and I was at work, I would not have great relationships with people at work because they would annoy me and they would get on my nerves. So it would break down my team, break down my relationship with my manager. It would also not make me want to go to work. And then it would also have an impact on the people at home. So it would start to break down my relationships at home because when I get in, I would be a ball of stress and hunger. And also, if nothing changes, if I didn't have a lunch break, I would start to gain weight. I wouldn't sleep properly as well. So look for yourself. What does the future look like if nothing changes? Now, as you're just going through this part, for me, this is the most important part because this is where you start to see the impact on your life, and that's where you make the change. And whenever I create a new boundary, if I don't implement the boundary, I keep looking at, okay, what's the impact of me not implementing that boundary? Or if I'm in that situation where I'm about to not implement the boundary or I have to, I just think, okay, what's the impact? What's the impact if I don't do this? Next, we're going to look at creating a new boundary. So what's the boundary that you want to create? So it could be that you want to have a lunch break every single day for 30 minutes between 12 and 2 p.m. And you want to get out of the office and you want to be able to go and buy your lunch somewhere. Yeah, be really specific about what it is that you want. Maybe at the moment you have a lot of working lunch breaks and actually it doesn't work for you. So you do get your lunch, but you need time for yourself. Yeah, maybe you get a bit overwhelmed with all the conversations and the work that you have to do. And actually what you need is fresh air and time by yourself. So be really specific with what is the boundary you want to create. Maybe you want to go to lunch with someone. Maybe that's what's missing for you. Now we're going to test the boundary. So what could happen if someone invalidates your boundary? So let's say, take my example. My boundary is that every day between 12 and 2, I have a 30-minute break by myself. I go out and I grab some lunch, come back and carry on with my work. Okay, so what could test my boundary is if someone says, I'll come with you. Yeah? Maybe it's someone says to me, no, we've got this really important meeting, you have to attend it. Or someone says to me, have you got time? I really just need to talk to you about something really urgent. It needs to be now that I talk to you about it. Yeah, what can someone, and who is it? Is it your manager? Is it your team? Is it a colleague? What could they do to really test your boundary? And now we're going to look at communicating your boundary. So you have to imagine and think about this, because every single day at the moment, you do a specific thing and now you're wanting to change. Yeah, so everybody expects you. Let's say the example is that people know that they can come and talk to you in the day and you're always available. Yeah. So I'm about to go on lunch and someone comes to me and they go, oh, no, Becca, I really need to talk to you. I've got this really important thing. And then I turn around and go, no, I've got my lunch break. Yeah. They're going to go, what? Like normally you drop everything for me. Okay. So you want to look at, who do you need to communicate this to? Is it your team? Do you need to say to your team, look, I know that I have always been available for you. And at the moment, what I'm finding is I'm not getting a break in my day. And so I get to the end of the day and I feel really stressed. I feel tired and hungry. And what I want to do instead is to make sure I get a break in the day. So in my diary, I'm going to block out this time. And in that time, you can go and speak to Gina, whoever else there is, and you can speak to them about whatever problems you have, and I'll be back within the half an hour, after half an hour, and you can come and see me again. And then maybe you need to communicate to Gina. Is it okay if my team come to you at this time? Yeah. So who is it that you need to communicate your new boundary to? Maybe someone needs to approve your boundary. Yeah. Maybe actually you need to go to a manager and say, can I have an hour lunch break instead of 30 minutes? And I will work an extra half an hour, or whatever the agreement is with your manager. So maybe you need it approved. And before you go and communicate what you need to communicate, you can start to think about, what is it that you want to say? Who do you need to say it to? And then when will you communicate this boundary? And then lastly, we've got to practice. So I always think that sometimes the easiest part is creating a boundary. It's very exciting. You think, yes, I'm going to get a lunch break. And you get very excited about it. And then you realize that you have to practice it and keep it. And I find that sometimes that is the hardest part. So what practice can you put in place? So if it was for myself, and I'm taking the example of the 30-minute lunch break between 12 and 2, what I would do is block out 30 minutes in my diary and put lunch break. And then if someone came to me and said, look, I have this really important thing that I need to deal with, I'd say, I'm about to go on my lunch break. It's 30 minutes. Please, can you go and speak to Gina? And then if it's not resolved, after 30 minutes, come back to me and I'll help you with it. Okay, so what practice can you put in place to keep this boundary alive? Because before, you have spent years and years and years of allowing this not to happen. So not to have a lunch break. So what can you do now that will help you keep it? And at first, what might happen is you might fail to keep the boundary. Yeah? Have patience with yourself, give yourself some love, and go back to the impact and then start again. Maybe it's what's missing is you need to communicate something that you haven't communicated to somebody. Yeah? So if I hope this has been useful. If you need anything from Andrew and I around boundaries or specifically taking a break, I'm going to put our social media links on the bottom. Please feel free to contact us, message us, follow us, and we will speak to you soon.